Welcome to Pink Radio with Prestige. This is the place for you, the diva boss entrepreneur who needs quick tips on building your crave-worthy brand. This is your host, Nicole Doss, CEO of the Prestige Society, a membership organization for women entrepreneurs who believe in building powerful networks while slaying in their industries. So I want you to go ahead and grab your favorite cup of coffee and get your favorite tips right here with Prestige. Hey, girl bosses. This is your girl, Nicole Doss, and thank you for returning and listening to another episode of Pink Radio with Prestige. So here's the thing. If you have gone on to your Instagram lately and you have been completely baffled at why the level of engagement has completely deteriorated, no worries. You know Instagram does what they do best. That's right, they changed the algorithm. And one of the things that they are really pushing is that you provide more video content. So before, I think we were starting to see that they're pushing more video content, but now it is listen, you do a video, you'll have easy 300, 400, 500 views. You post a picture and you get 10. So, or 10 likes. So this is the conversation that every girl boss who is absolutely fearful of posting videos, this is for you. So let's talk about it. Now, please excuse me, my voice is completely a little raspy due to all of the screaming and praising and worshiping that I was doing at Sarah Jake's Woman Evolve conference. I went this year. It was phenomenal. I really thoroughly enjoyed myself. I went with my girl boss friends, my business besties, Davita Garfield and Elaine Gonzalez Johnson. So we were all praising and loving the Lord together. And it really did give us some great information that we needed for our own conference. It's happening October 12th. So if you are interested in learning more about the Pray and Slay conference, I encourage you to go to www.prayandslayconference.com and learn a little bit about us as the co-creators of the conference, the areas that we are going to cover in the conference. And then as we confirm our speakers, you will hear more and more information. And I'm really excited because what we are trying to do is cultivate an experience for those who come. It is a school theme, so the name of the conference is School is in Session, and so we are super duper excited about that. So make sure you get some information on that. So I am completely feeling refreshed and renewed, and I am really digging into my business more and really wanting to learn all aspects of the business that I've kind of grown complacent in. One of the things that I feel when I had rebranded is that I had gotten real good at Instagram, right? I was able to organically grow my followers. So none of my followers are purchased. I used this automation system. It was called, I think, Instagress for maybe a hot second. And the reason I say a hot second is because Instagram did a cease and desist on Instagress. So I couldn't even really use it to its fullest capacity. But what it did, it really automated the liking and commenting part of you engaging on Instagram. Which then, if you start liking folks and it starts identifying okay, who looks in the Instagram community your demographic, and then it would go and it would interact with those individuals, and then those individuals will follow me, and so it would help in increasing followers that way. But that didn't last too long because, like I said, they all the way shut Instagram down. So I might have used them for 2 months, but for the years that I've had an Instagram profile, really I did that organically, and I spent a lot of time, and maybe not the best time, because I really am a huge proponent or a supporter of making sure that you are streamlining processes to optimize your time and where you spend your time and energy. But I don't think, I was probably being a really good steward of my time when I was doing it organically. I literally would go and find brands that looked like me. I would then go and follow their followers who looked like they were business owners. So if you were somebody who had a private business, I did not follow you. But if you're a private profile, I wouldn't follow you. But if it was public and if you had something that looked like it was a a business, then I would go and follow you, and then I would interact with that particular profile, and then I would use an unfollow tool called Crowdfire, which was really cool because at the time Crowdfire would literally let you copy those followers. So you would copy those followers of the brand that looked like yours, and then I would be able to go and see who did not follow me back, and then I would unfollow those who did not follow me. So if you are someone who notices that you have like numbers that fluctuate, and you follow and unfollow, like you notice that people are following you, then unfollowing you, it's probably because you haven't followed them back and they're just trying to fix their numbers. But it has, so I went through that and I really was able to grow into the 9,000s. And then I noticed that Instagram had changed their algorithm again. And then I realized like, hey, I'm not really able to increase my numbers as quickly. Like I used to be able to have like 100 new followers within 24 hours. Matter of fact, at the Prestige Society, we would do a challenge called 124. And what you would do is you would follow that rule of finding brands like yours, following their followers, and then seeing who followed you back. Whoever did not follow you back, you then unfollowed those individuals, and then all in hopes to increase your numbers. And that became harder and harder, right? So that no longer became the way you were able to use followers. And then we had the era of people who were selling bundles on bundles and bundles and bundles of weave, and then they were following you, and then that made you like your numbers were definitely increasing. And then all of a sudden, you realized they would just drop you, and then all of a sudden your numbers would go back down. What's interesting now is with their new published new algorithm, I don't notice that a whole bunch of like these stupid fake like accounts are following me as much as they did. So whatever bot they were probably using to follow people, it might have gotten a nice little cease and desist too, because like I said, I don't notice that those who were selling bundles of hair are following me as much. So in digging into social media, digital marketing, one of the things I'm really interested in is, how do I use things like ads? How do I use things like engagement to really get back to increasing my followers? Because I've been really in this like 9,000 space. I think right now 9,577. At some point I was like 9,600 something, and then all of that went down to 9,577. And I teeter back and forth. So I'll be at 79, then I'll be at 76. And I'm like, okay, Instagram, you're going to have to give me some keys, because I do not understand why I cannot break this threshold. Because once you get to the 10,000 mark, that's where you get a little bit more flexibility and things that you can do. So within your stories, you can place links and people can swipe up. And I'm not saying that you have to have 10,000 followers in order for you to be an influencer, because I know plenty of girl bosses who have bomb engagement and have about like 4,000 to 5,000 followers less than I do. And they have way more engagement, way more likes, way more conversions than I do. So with the 10,000 isn't about conversions, because there's more things you have to do to get the conversions. But for me, and for those of you, let me just go back. If you don't know what I mean by conversions, it means how do you turn likes into dollar signs, right? So, when you think of social media as the handshake. And then when you think of your website, that's the actual introduction and conversion. That's where, all of that takes place. Now, Instagram is really moving into a space that will allow you, if you use certain things, like if you have a Shopify account, if you have things like ShopLink It, if you have that, of course, those are different ways that you're able to, those are different ways that you'll be able to really go into this space and like sell directly in the social media space, because then no one has to leave, right? And we are lazy. As consumers, we are lazy. The more steps it takes for me to be able to buy, the greater you are increasing your chance of your customers not to buy, okay? So if I have to jump through 6 hoops, you are you are really decreasing the chance of the person to purchase from you. So when we talk about conversion rates, when we look at conversion, you want things that are super simple for the consumer to see it and buy it right in that moment. So using ads that allow you to shop now is really great. But when you are able to get to 10,000 mark and looking at the increase of how many people use and view stories now, you want to be able to do things like selling straight from your story, which is becoming more and more of a needed, or more and more of a regularly used way to convert people who are interested in your brand. So definitely, I'm looking to build and engage, and I'm like, oh, how can I do it? So there's two things that popped up as I'm looking at ways to build. So all of that to say, I'm in a space where I'm looking to break the 10,000 mark. Not for conversion rates, but for access to being able to use more tools without paying for it, conversion opportunities. Make sense? Makes sense. And how does that work? By using things like links when I can swipe up from stories and things of that nature. Okay. Now, in that space, I was like, let me do a little research. So Sprout Social is a social media digital marketing platform. And I do not use them, so I cannot speak to how awesome they are. But what I can speak to is their blog. And they give information to really help you understand things like the new algorithm. So one of the things that came up is that when social media users are on Instagram now has changed. So what do I mean by that? And I talk about Instagram because Facebook is not my ministry. Like, I use Facebook to manage the communities, but I do not use Facebook to engage with my target market, because my target market really lives on Instagram. So in looking at Sprout Social, they wanted to explain some of the things that we should be looking at from the new algorithm. And one of the things came about times to post, the best times to post. And they break it down for Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. So what I was looking at was from an Instagram standpoint. Now, before this new algorithm, the best times to post would be before 8 a.m. and after 8 p.m. So people are usually looking at it before they go to work, and they are usually looking at things after they leave and they've cooked and kids are quiet. Well, my kids are not quiet at 8 p.m., but I guess most of America's kids are quiet at 8 p.m. Now with the new algorithm, I lie to you not. And you know what I'll do? In the description, I will put the link in the box, the description, so that we can go ahead and talk about it a little bit. So, and you can look at it and you can see it for yourself. But what was crazy is that when you look at their graph of like the best time to post, it was Wednesday at 11 a.m. That is so not normal, because normally what would happen is that 8 a.m. and 8 p.m. were your most optimal times, or before 8 a.m. I should say, and after 8 p.m. were your most optimal times to post. And then anything else in between was like a free-for-all. Like, you really weren't sure if it was going to be effective or not. So in their graph, the darkest color is like the best time to post. And so they have like the darkest of the darkest red that almost looks like dark blood red. Like almost like that dark red that looks like black brick type red, 11 a.m. on Wednesday. I'm like, okay, wait, what is happening? So I thought that was pretty interesting. And from that, what was really interesting is that it changes how you post. But on top of that, what was really interesting is that it's not just about beautiful images anymore. It's like we have evolved to want more. So now it's all about wanting to post videos and adding videos to your stories, as well as videos onto your Instagram page. So let me tell you, for me, it's like, okay, I just gotta create more content and be more intentional about what I post as far as video goes, and being more intentional in making sure that I really provide some information on my Instagram stories on an ongoing basis. But it's for me, it's more like having more insight into this. And this, they, like I said, they've been moving into the space more. But it's like now it's like part of the algorithm. So it's like forcing you to go into the space of posting video opposed to just pictures. So now you have to have like really cool pictures. And what I find is that people like pictures of me, like instead of like random pictures, stock photography. So, I think I posted, like if I post a pretty stock photography of like a girl's desk, because, Girl Boss Desk stock photography has been like the thing that was popping, let's say like in 2014 and 15, like, that was the thing. If it wasn't, then this is how you know it was. Every stock photographer had some really pretty styled like flat lay of and flat lay just means like a top view of a girl boss desk, right? And you'll see like a laptop and maybe some lip gloss and maybe a really pretty notebook and maybe a really cute pen and maybe some rhinestones thrown across it. So you always saw a photographer take that kind of stock photography. So those kind of things were like the things that were really cool. And because Instagram was really created as like this like photography or this like photojournalism kind of platform where people wanted to be able to tell stories through photos, that really is where this movement of stock photography that looked gorgeous really kind of took the forefront of people had the inability to take those beautiful pictures themselves. This is why more mobile phones created more of these beautiful type of cameras that allow, or not beautiful cameras, but these camera lenses that allowed for more beautiful pictures because people wanted to be able to capture moments on their phones. They wanted it to look like it was professional. That's why you see, so many different photo editing apps because people want to be able to make really beautiful images so they can get more engagement onto their Instagrams. And, I remember Antoinette Miner, who is the founder of TYP Social Media and Co. And she talked about this, I'm going to say maybe a few months ago, that like, hey guys, it's all about video engagement. Video is what's going to get your people more engaged. Focus more on building video content. So she was kind of ahead of the curve, right? So she's been talking about that. My girl Lane Johnson's like been telling me since the summertime, like last summer, do more video components on your stories because people want to know you. But now Instagram is really, really pushing it. So with their algorithms, they're really making sure that it's videos that are landing on the timelines of your viewers instead of those pictures. And so what's happening now is that the more that people are used to seeing videos, the more they're building it. And here's the thing that's coming too down the pipeline that's supposed to be happening. From a business perspective, you're going to see more impressions instead of likes for those business profiles. So you're going to really be pushed to use more of those business social media marketing strategies opposed to pushing things that you're just comfortable with. So that's why I said this episode is really for the girl boss who finds it difficult to get in front of the camera and to do video, because you are going to have to spend some more time in front of the camera and engaging your tribe more. So of course, that's why I said, are you afraid to get in front of the camera and talk to your tribe? Well, listen, like, hey, no worries, because Instagram is going to force you to do it anyway. So let's talk about the 3 different things you should take into consideration in order for you to really push your brand. All right, are you ready for tip number 1? I wanted to give you some music so you can get excited. All right, so tip number 1, if you are interested in figuring out how in the world are you going to gain some confidence here to get in front of the camera, here it is. Okay, number 1 is this. You first need to realize that you are not chasing the bag, you're chasing your purpose. And if God has given you this business and your purpose, if God has given you gifts, if God has given you this just insight that He wants you to be able to use to move your targeted demographic forward, then I want you to understand that whatever it is that you're doing about your business it needs to not be egocentric, okay? Now, usually you would relate or you would connect being egocentric to things like vanity or things that are like pompous, like those things where people think above themselves, right? But guess what? You can be egocentric and at the same time, like taking a lot of fear, taking a lot of insecurity, because at the end of the day, like what's really funny for me is that, I mean, I'm not saying I don't have doubts or fear, because that's not it. Like I'm still human, but one of the things that I am is very transparent about my journey. And I have a friend of mine who says, like, oh my gosh, Nicole, like, you're so transparent that it's almost scary. Like, I don't think everyone is ready for your transparency. Like, I don't think they can handle your transparency, because the transparency isn't like me telling them how it is about them. My transparency is about me and my situation and how I'm just going to be honest with you, because maybe it'll help you. Maybe I'm going through what I'm going through to help you. I'm to use it as a testimony. I'm to use it to share, so that it's not about how you view me, but it's about how can this word resonate with you. And I don't care. Like, I'm transparent because it's not about me. I'm transparent because I'm not egocentric to now get so caught up in the fear of how you view me or how you judge me. What I'm focused on is that I was meant to help someone. So I care more about the person I'm helping than the person who's judging me, because the person who's judging me, I'm not here for. You're not even in my peer view, my peripheral. Like, I can't even see you. And it's not cockiness, and it really isn't. It's because if it was cockiness and if it was me being pompous, then I would only show you the highlight reel. I wouldn't tell you about my trials. I wouldn't even be honest with you. I would just give you a spin that made me seem so much more than what I really am, right? And so I'm not really for that. And I think that that's the problem. Like, you got to get out of your own head. And when you are so focused on you being nervous, when you're so focused on, I don't know if I'm going to have the right words to say, when you're so focused on all those things, you are so focused on you, and that's what makes it egocentric. Because the focus isn't on the people you're trying to help, it's solely on you. So why are you blocking what God has put into your spirit and how you're supposed to work in your purpose? That's crazy to me. One of the biggest things I talk about in my book, Rock Your Life, is about how I struggled with weight my entire life. And, the devil is busy. And I was just talking to Davida about this, because she was saying how, like, basically there was this thing around beauty that had kind of like casted a shadow over her. And y'all know my girl Davida is like gorgeous. She's not just gorgeous, she's like glam gorgeous, right? And there was this thing around beauty that basically like cast a shadow over her as a child. And what's interesting is that her daughter, she sees as being beautiful, and as a baby, she saw her daughter as being like beautiful. And literally the enemy would send people her way to ask her like, oh, is that your child? And in her mind, it was like, oh, because Anaya's beautiful, so then clearly they can't be related. And what's so funny is, as much as me and my youngest look nothing like us, like we do not look alike. Like, people need to ask me if I'm her nanny, because we do not resemble each other at all. Not one person has ever asked me if that's my child. Like, matter of fact, one lady knocked on the window and like was trying to like wrestle to scroll, like to roll it down just to tell me how much she looks like me. And y'all know Taylor does not look like me. She looks 110% like her dad. And what happens there is, like, the enemy will tell you these stories and place people in your path that will basically try to tell you that you're not good enough, or that you can't show up in a way that God needs you to show up, right? And so you have to discount that, because what it has to do with, it has to quiet the enemy who is constantly having you focus on on you. Like, it's not about you. It's about the forward progression of your tribe. That's why God placed these things into your spirit. That's why he gave you this business. That's why he placed you here. And I think that's really important for us to like move out of our own way. And that's something I really want you guys to like to harness and to take home, okay? So move out of your way and start with your purpose. So the first thing I want you to do right now, if you need to press pause, you press pause, because you know me, I love to teach. I love to teach. I want you to be able to feel like you're really getting a gem that you can actually apply to your business. And once again, this is for the girl boss who is struggling with getting in front of the camera. Why? Because you are going to have to build your tribe by building engaging videos. Why? Because you got to start with your purpose. The whole purpose of your business is to create a solution for the targeted demographic who has a problem. And the problem is so big that they feel stuck. And God has blessed you with this idea. He has blessed you with this business so that you can do what? Help them move forward. Help them move forward. And you can't help them move forward if you're stuck inside of yourself. You can't help them move forward if all you're worried about is what you look like to your target demographic. I literally did an entire video on my Insta story this morning with a crumb on my cheek from my Power breakfast sandwich from Dunkin' Donuts. And I don't care. I kindly removed the crumb and said, yes, your girl just had breakfast. And for some of you, you were so caught up in, oh my gosh, I don't even look polished, so now I can't post it. What? I refuse to believe that nobody received my message because they were more consumed with the tiny itty bitty crumb that was on my face than receiving the word that I was providing to them. So you got to get out of your way. And it's so funny because we were just, I was listening to Aleen's podcast that we did when we were in Colorado. And we literally just had to just say it, like, move, get out the way, get out the way. Yes, we did. We paid homage to Ludacris on that one. And so, that's kind of like what you need to do. So you're going to get your notebook. You're going to grab your pen and you are going to ask yourself, what is my purpose? Who are you helping? Who are you helping? Who are you creating your business for? What problem do they have? And how is your business helping them? That's your purpose. That's your purpose. Not the bag, not the money you can make. Who are you helping and why are you helping them? Okay. So that's number one. That's what you're going to grab. Number two. You are going to teach, and as you teach, you are going to remove yourself from the equation. So listen, I've been saying this a lot, but I want to be very clear what I mean by removing myself from the equation. I don't mean like take me off this earth. I don't mean I'm going to teach, but it's not going to be me. It's going to be somebody else. I'm removing myself from the equation. I mean, I'm going to remove all those self-doubts, all of those insecurities, all of the feelings that I have that are getting in the way. And I'm going to allow God to show up in my purpose so I can teach, because there are people who need you. If you are a hairstylist and you might have a B2B or a B2C teaching moment, figure out what it is. Who are you helping in this space? Okay? So figure out what that is. So let me explain to you what I mean by that. Hairstylists, you may be gifted in the area of helping naturalistas. And because, when my hair was longer and I used to wear my hair natural, I struggled with natural hairstyles. And you find that you tend to become your own DIY hairstylist. And there are some products out there and things like that we're trying to always figure out what to use. And a lot of times we're listening to these influencers. And a lot of these influencers are not hairstylists. They're just girls trying to figure it out as well. But you have the certification and the license that breaks down the chemistry of the hair. And yet you're so worried about the person who's sitting in your chair instead of thinking about the YouTube channel that you need to create, where you need to teach women how to take care of their hair, where you can monetize it, or creating a tribe where you can get a monthly subscription through your brand, teaching them and maybe even sending them products to help them with their hair by building a partnership with the actual company of the products that you really like. there's an opportunity for you to teach. Maybe there's an opportunity for you even to teach other salon owners or other hairstylists who don't quite know how to take care of natural hair. And I'm just using natural hair as an example. It could be anybody. But number two is teach and remove yourself from the equation. Teach and remove those feelings of insecurity. You could be a real estate agent. Everybody's getting a real estate license these days. Okay, everybody. Real estate is like the thing right now. It's very reminiscent of 2005. I used to be in the mortgage industry. So, so 2005, 2006, 2007. So it looks like everybody's about to be living their best life through real estate. And then you know what happens, the bubble bursts. But guess what? Why don't you teach us how to be recession proof? Why don't you teach some girl bosses how to help people through the recession that we're about to experience? Since you know it happens in a cycle, so it's not like we're not going to have a recession. It happens all the time. We live our best life and then we don't, and then we live our best life and then we don't. So how can we do things through, let's say, wholesaling? How can we help families get out of really tough situations with their properties through wholesaling? And as we're helping the families, we're helping girl bosses understand how they can create a whole other stream of income for themselves that will help them through the recession, because they're going to help people who are going through a really bad time. So now we get them out of a problem. And at the same time, you put some money in your pocket. You can teach somebody something, but you can't. But this is how you teach, through making your engaging videos. Why? Because people need to know why they need to trust you, and you do it through the video. So first, before you even turn on the camera, you got to ask yourself, what is my purpose? Who am I supposed to be helping? How can I help them? The second thing is, put yourself in the mind that you are a teacher and remove all of those negative pieces that come with that self, right? Insecurity, self-doubt, whatever. And the last part is just start. And how do you just start? Write down a piece of paper. I'm going to make one video. One video is going to be alive, introducing who I am, what I'm passionate about, and what I intend to teach people through my Instagram profile. My name is Nicole Doss, and I'm the CEO and founder of the Prestige Society, and it is my intention to teach the girl boss how to create their version of incredible businesses by building tribes. Building tribes and slaying in their industries. That is my intent. Literally, that would be as simple as me hitting hands-free button on my Instagram stories and it being there. Even better, once you come up with maybe so take my formula. I always teach 3 points. It is always 3 points. Teach 3 points. Make it maybe 5 minutes long. Put it on Instagram TV. Guess what happens? It automatically creates a preview to your Instagram grid, right? So like in your timeline, it automatically makes it a preview. Watch the numbers grow of how many people are going to watch that. That's phenomenal. You can even do a little snippet of it and put it in your Insta story, have a link, they can swipe up and have access to your Instagram TV. Just start. That's it. That's all you have to do. So remember, the 3 things that you're going to do to start building your tribe through video is 1, start with your purpose. 2, teach and remove yourself. And 3, just start. Just do it. All right, guys, I can't wait to see what awesome things you guys create. Please feel free to @ me at the Women, no, we're no longer at Women of Prestige, at the Prestige Society HQ. I really want to see how you guys are starting to become the faces of your brand, removing yourself, meaning that negativity, any self-doubt, any insecurities you may have, and really walking in your purpose. All right, guys, have an awesome, wonderful, and fabulous day. Bye.